friends, it's Lisa, and I am so excited because today we are going to be doing a 24-hour readathon. It's been a bit since my last 24-hour readathon. I did one back in June and I haven't done one since, and I just love 24-hour readathons. I think they're so much fun, so I of course wanted to try and do one again as soon as possible, and this is now my 4th year doing one around this time of year. I feel like Halloween and just like getting into the autumn spirit, I love doing 24-hour readathons, especially because there's so many things I want to read around this time of year. The only way I can possibly get through some of that TBR is a 24-hour readathon. So yeah, we're going to be doing a 24-hour readathon to celebrate Halloween. And like I said, I've done this the past few years, so I'll have the previous 24-hour readathons that I've done around this time of year linked below. So it is currently 1:15 right now, and I'm the only one partaking in this readathon, so I really can start it whenever I want. But just to be like satisfying, I'm going to start on an hour. I'm going to start at 2 p.m. So yeah, I'm going to start at 2, end at 2 tomorrow, and we'll see how much I'm able to read in that time. Speaking of reading, probably should talk about what I'm going to be reading, what the TBR is for this 24-hour readathon. So before we get into the TBR, I do just want to say that this month, me and some of my BookTube besties are hosting a Halloween-themed readathon throughout the entire month of October called the Trick or Treat-a-thon. We've done this the past few years, and it's so much fun. Every year we kind of do a different theme, and this year we based the prompts off of Halloween episodes from our favorite like childhood shows. So that is where I kind of got this TBR from. I'm going to be trying to complete some of the prompts for that readathon in these 24 hours. So when I'm discussing prompts, now you know what I'm talking about. It's for the Trick or Treat-a-thon. So first up on the TBR, I'm definitely going to be reading The Long Game by Ellen Armis because I'm already in the middle of this. I'm actually almost done with it. I think I have like 100 pages left of this, so I think this is going to be what I start the readathon off with. I am counting this for a Trick or Treat-a-thon prompt as well, so that'll be nice to check something off of that. But because I'm also almost done, it's going to feel really good at the beginning of the 24-hour readathon to already have something completed. I feel like that's the hack. If you have something you're currently reading, get very close to finishing it and then start your 24-hour readathon so you can just feel good right from the start. It'll motivate me to do well with this 24-hour readathon. So yeah, I'm going to start with this and complete this first, hopefully. But I also started a different book for the Trick or Treat-a-thon as well. I'm currently reading Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland, and I'm going to hold the bookmark because this string just flies all around. But I started this a few days ago. I'm not super far. I've only read a couple chapters. I'm on chapter 3, which is page 34. So I'm very early on into the book. But I'm also reading this for the Trick or Treat-a-thon, and the prompt that I'm counting this for is to read a book at night. So I can only read this book at night. So I think regardless of what I'm in the middle of, what I'm reading, I think once it starts to get dark out tonight, this is going to be what I pick up, and I'm just going to try and make as much progress in this as possible, but obviously only in the nighttime hours. So clearly I need to have something else ready to go because I'm gonna probably finish The Long Game early on in the readathon, and then I'm gonna have some time before it's nighttime. So I think what I might pick up in between The Long Game and Beyond the Black Door, and I'll probably continue to read it tomorrow as well, is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. So this is actually going to be a reread for me. I did read this back in 2021, but I read it at a point in my life where I was very distracted by things going on in my life, and I feel like I didn't appreciate this as much as I could have. I definitely did enjoy it when I read it for the first time. I just feel like I can enjoy it even more than I did then. So I want to do a reread of this before reading the sequel Bloodmarked for the first time. So I think I might pick this up and get going on this reread. And I also might grab the audiobook to listen to while I physically read just to make it go a little bit faster. And it is a reread, so obviously it's all familiar. So those are the main reading plans, but as always with 24-hour readathons, I love to have an audiobook going because I feel like there are times in 24-hour readathons where you can't be physically reading. You have to do something or some things. So I like to still feel productive and that I'm working on the 24-hour readathon and reading as much as possible. So I like having audiobooks. And I think what I'm going to be listening to during this 24-hour readathon when I have an opportunity to is The Glass Witch by Lindsay Puckett. And this, as well as Legendborn, all 4 of these books actually I'm counting for the Trick or Treat-a-thon. So proud of myself for sticking to a TBR. Obviously, we have 24 hours for things to change. Who knows if I end up picking up something different. That's always possible. But The Glass Witch, I think the audiobook is only like 4.5 hours. It's middle grade, following this girl. I think her and her family are a bunch of witches, and she ends up trying to break this curse that's been on her family, and it ends up turning, I think, her body or like her bones into glass. And then there's this like witch hunter that's coming after her. So it seems like she's trying to stop this curse, stop this witch hunter. And it just seems really, really fun, really cozy. And I watched this author and her videos on YouTube, so I definitely want to support her and her books. So I would love to pick this up and listen to this when I can. So these are the books, as well as The Glass Witch, that are on my TBR for this 24-hour readathon. Do I think I am going to be able to complete all of these things? Probably not, but stranger things have happened. I feel like even though I've done so many 24-hour readathons, I still cannot gauge how much I can actually read in 24 hours. So sometimes my TBRs are a little overly ambitious. Sometimes I don't have enough things to read. We're just gonna see what happens. We're gonna see how much of all of these things I'm able to read in 24 hours. And before the readathon starts, I think I'm gonna go and make myself an iced chai latte, and hopefully the caffeine in that will keep me up a little bit later tonight, because I really struggle to stay awake past like 10 p.m. these days, so we'll see how this goes. Plus recently, I know I keep mentioning this, I recently had COVID and I'm definitely still like recovering, so I also don't want to like push myself. I want this to be a relatively chill and cozy 24-hour readathon. Obviously, I want to read as much as possible, and reading is relaxing, but at the same time, if I need to go to bed and get rest, that is literally the most important thing for me to do right now for my health. So we're just gonna see what happens. We're gonna put an emphasis on cozy and relaxing 24-hour readathon. Those words, that's the key. But yeah, welcome to this 24-hour readathon vlog, and I will check back in with you all when the readathon begins and we can start reading. Slowly starting to fall asleep, so I figured now would be a good time to update. It's now 5:14, so I am 3 hours and 14 minutes into the readathon. Is that the right math? Yes. That's simple math. This isn't going well. I did finish the long game probably like an hour ago-ish, maybe. It took me like a little over 2 hours. To be fair, I forgot I had a video going up at 2 when I started the readathon, so I had to like post everything for that. And of course it was like a sponsored video, so it took a little bit longer. So it took me like 10 minutes into the readathon to actually start reading, but anyways, I finished it. Which, very quick synopsis of the book, you're following Adeline, who works for the Miami Flames soccer team, which is the soccer team that her father owns. So she works for her father, essentially. She works for her dad, and she ends up getting into a bit of a scuffle, an altercation, if you will, with the team's mascot. And a video of this ends up going viral, and it brings a lot of negative attention onto the team. So her dad's like, you gotta get out of here. You're gonna go to North Carolina and help this struggling soccer team out and you're gonna like give them a success story basically. And she gets there and she doesn't know until she gets there that it's a little league team and it's a bunch of 9-year-old girls. And also in this town is Cameron Caldani, who is this professional soccer player who recently retired, but kind of his retirement is a bit of a mystery. It kind of happened very suddenly, and him being in this town is like, it's supposed to be on the down low. Like, he doesn't really want people to know that he's there, and the two of them do not get along from the start, but they realize that they can kind of help each other with this soccer team. And throughout this book, they're just like getting to know each other, and there's some fall fun festivities that they're partaking in, and I thought this was fun. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was cute. I liked the characters. I liked the small town vibes, and the fact that he lives in a cabin and she's staying in like a small cabin that's like next to his. And I say small cabin, it's literally like a shed. But I liked that kind of atmosphere and the fact that it is taking place over the fall, and there's some fun fall festivities, like I said, that are happening. It kind of makes this a little bit more festive for this time of year to read right now. So yeah, I did like it. I thought the romance was really cute. This is also, like, for me, Elena Armis, her writing is very easy to read. Why is someone leaf blowing right now? Okay, I'm gonna keep talking and hope that you can't hear it. You probably can. Okay, to finish my thoughts, I thought it was cute. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. Okay, to very rapid fire finish my thoughts, because now a leaf blower's going or whatever it is. I don't know. It's really distracting. I don't remember what I was saying. I thought this was cute. I liked it more than the American Roommate Experiment. I liked the characters. I thought that the conflict in the end did make sense. If it went on for longer than it did, I think it would have been annoying, but I think it made sense with the characters and what their personalities were, and like their history and kind of their trauma, or just like what they had experienced in the past. Like, I understand why they reacted to a certain conflict in the way that they did. I will say Cameron Caldani saying darling every single page, enough. Like, it's a cute pet name. I like it. However, having him say it to her every 5 seconds, like every time he talks to her, there needed to be like a cutoff for how many times he said that word to her. It just took away from how cute it could be, because it happened so often that when it was actually cute, it just didn't land the same way. And also the fact that there are like children in this book. I like kids. However, I think sometimes when authors write about kids, they don't always write them well. Oh, they stopped. Oh, the noise stopped outside. Okay. Now I can think. Anyway, kids. I feel like sometimes they can be written in a way that's not realistic, and that was definitely happening in this book. It kept taking me out when a 9-year-old would be spewing this knowledge that's like, you are 9 years old, there's no way you would be using these words, be saying these things. It just was not realistic to me. Like, there were cute moments with the kids, but there were some moments where I was like, this is like a full-grown adult talking to these people, and it's supposed to be a 9-year-old girl. It's just not realistic. So that also took me out of the story. Oh, was I saying? I think I remember what I was saying before I got distracted. Elena Armis, her writing is very easy to read. Like, I found myself being sucked into this book pretty much right away, and it was one of those books like I forgot that I was reading while I was reading it. It was just so easy to keep turning the pages and getting sucked in. So I had a good time. Definitely not like a new favorite, but I had a good time with it and I really liked it. I could see myself rereading it in the future, and it's the first book done for this 24-hour readathon, and also a book done for the trick-or-treat-a-thon. So okay, the noise is starting back up. Why does this happen every time I vlog? Every time I turn my camera on, my neighbor is making a noise. I don't understand. It was so quiet for hours before this because I was falling asleep. Okay, anyway. I'm done complaining now. And after finishing the long game, I did start reading Legendborn. I already took the dust jacket off. I can't read with the dust jacket on. It just gets in the way. But I'm on chapter 3, page 28. Like I said, I was kind of dozing off, so I've only listened and read the first couple of chapters. I do have the audiobook to help me get through it a little bit faster. But this book, you're following Bree Matthews, who starts attending this college. It's like this college program for high schoolers. I think she's only like 16 years old. And she gets there and she ends up discovering the Legendborn Society, who are all like, I don't know, somehow they're like descendants of King Arthur. I don't really remember the whole thing. Oh, okay. It says, when the Legendborn reveal themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights. So they're all descendants of various people involved in that, and the Legendborn like hunt down like demons and magical creatures, and I think there's like this war that's coming, and Bree kind of gets swept up in that, but she's also grieving the loss of her mother, so there's a lot of discussion on grief and loss, so definitely be aware of that. But yeah, I'm excited to be back with these characters, be back in this world. We've already seen Selwyn, is that how you say his name? Who I love, so I'm excited to be back reading about him. And we'll see how much I can read of this before I get to Beyond the Black Door, once it is officially nighttime. I mean, it's almost 5:30, which I would consider night, but I'm gonna wait till it's dark out, and I want to see if I can get like maybe like halfway or almost halfway through Legendborn before switching to Beyond the Black Door, but we'll see. We'll just see what happens. And now, talking and my neighbors being noisy, I think I'm ready to do some more reading. I'm a little bit more awake. What's funny is I finished my chai, which has caffeine in it, and then I start falling asleep. Not boding well for how late I'm going to be able to stay up for this 24-hour readathon, but we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I want to embrace the cozy vibes, so if I'm not, up super late and I'm getting some rest, I'm fine with that. I already took my makeup off. I had enough of that. I'm embracing the more cozy, relaxed vibes. I will be doing my skincare later. Maybe I'll do a face mask. That could be fun. Also, LOL at me spilling the chai. Earlier when I was making my chai latte, I was trying to be all aesthetic and getting that shot, and then I spilled the chai everywhere. But that's life. Not everything is aesthetically pleasing. Okay, now I'm delaying myself from going and reading, so I'm gonna go read now and see how much I can get read before dinner and before I switch over to Beyond the Black Door. Okay, hello. I'm here with another update. I did update a couple of hours ago, and it was probably a mess because right as I started filming, my neighbors started using like their leaf blower or something, and I'm not kidding, the second I stopped filming, they stopped. I don't know why that happens to me every time I try and vlog. So we're gonna hope that everyone stays nice and quiet for right now. But I do have some reading updates, so I probably should grab the books. That's an idea. So I did say earlier that I did finish The Long Game, gave it 4 stars. And then after that, I did start on my reread of Legendborn. I'm now up to part 2, which is on page 85. So I made a 85. If you know it, if you know that reference, we are besties. Anyway, I'm on page 85. So I think it is now like a little past 7 o'clock. I think what I'm gonna do is maybe do my skincare, do a face mask. I kind of want to make a hot chocolate as well, just like get the ultimate cozy vibes going. And I think I'm going to switch over to Beyond the Black Door because it's officially night. It is dark outside. Kind of sad that it's starting to get dark out so early, but it's fine. But yeah, I think I'm going to switch over to Beyond the Black Door at this point, now that it is officially nighttime, and I think I might just read this for the rest of the night. I may switch over to Legendborn if I'm really not feeling this, but I do want to make some more progress in this, and I can only read it at nighttime, so I think the rest of the night I'm going to be working on reading this. And I think me and Darian might be doing a little catch-up Zoom call because we haven't Zoomed in so long, and I think we're both available finally tonight. So I think we may be doing that. So honestly, the amount of reading that may get done tonight could be minimal because we could just be chatting, could be catching up, but that's okay. Like I said, this is going to be a cozy, chill 24-hour readathon. So yes, I think Beyond the Black Door is going to be what I'm picking up the rest of the night. I haven't started The Glass Witch yet just because I haven't had an opportunity to start an audiobook yet, but I'm sure at some point tonight I will pick it up, like especially like right before I go to bed. I'll probably listen to it as I fall asleep. So yeah, Beyond the Black Door and probably starting The Glass Witch is going to be the plan for the rest of the night. I definitely want to get like a cozy fall kind of ASMR room up on the TV and just cozy in, do some reading, make myself a hot chocolate. In a little bit, I'm still full from dinner, so I don't want a hot chocolate yet, but I will be doing that. Now that I have my taste back from COVID, I want to consume all of the things that I couldn't taste for like 3 days. It really seems like I'm being, like, it was so much more dramatic than what it was, but like I really wanted a hot chocolate and then I lost my taste. So I've been needing to have one for a while. So I think I'm gonna do that tonight, get cozy and work on reading Beyond the Black Door. looks tired. So it is a little after 11 o'clock in the evening, which is why I'm being quiet, because people are sleeping. And I'm also feeling very tired. I was gonna at least try to make it till midnight, but I don't know. We're gonna see. I think I'm gonna like brush my teeth, like get in bed, but I might do some more reading beforehand. And like I said, I'll probably listen to a bit of the Glass Switch before going to sleep. So I haven't started it yet, but I figured I can listen as I fall asleep and still be like reading for as long as possible before going to sleep. And then I'll wake up relatively early, but not too early tomorrow, and continue on reading. I did make a good amount of progress in Beyond the Black Door. I love how I hold it up. The cover's not on the book. You can't see it anyway. I'm on page 146. I did stop in the middle of a chapter, so I'm at least gonna try and finish that chapter before going to sleep, or switching to the Glass Switch before going to sleep. I definitely have not been reading, I feel like, as much as I typically do for 24-hour readathons, but again, I have been just trying to be very chill and very relaxed, and I think I'm gonna have a good amount of time tomorrow to do some reading as well. With the readathon not ending until 2, I do have, you know, the morning and a bit of the afternoon to do a lot of reading, so I should be able to get in a good amount of pages tomorrow. And yeah, I'm just excited I'm making progress in all the things I wanted to be reading. So that is my update for now. I'm gonna go brush my teeth, get ready for bed, and do some reading before I fall asleep, and I will check in with you all in the morning. Well, hello, good morning. It is almost 10:30, it's 10:28 right now, and my camera's also about to die, so we're gonna try and make this quick. But I have about 3.5 hours left of this readathon. We're in the final stretch, so I wanted to quickly update on where I'm at with my current reads before the kind of last few hours of this readathon. So last night, once it got dark out, I did decide to pick up Beyond the Black Door, which again, I still don't have the dust jacket on it. It's right behind me. I could put it on, but I'm not going to. But because I'm reading this for the reading at night prompt, I wanted to take advantage of that and make some progress in it. So now I'm on chapter 13, which is page 158. So I read like 120 or so pages of this last night, which I think is pretty good considering I started getting very sleepy very early on. And me and Darian, obviously, we did our little Zoom call and we just like were talking and catching up and everything. So I'm pretty happy with the progress I was able to make there. I also don't really feel like I've really described what this book is about. So you are following a character named Kamai, and she is a soul walker, and so is her mom. So that means when people are sleeping, they can like enter their souls, and once you are trained and you learn enough about it, you can start to discover like secrets and things about these people as you enter their souls. While they are soul walking, Kamai always sees this black door, and her mom has always told her, you know, you cannot open that black door, you cannot go in there, don't even think about it, just pretend it doesn't exist. So she's always been told to ignore it and not even go through it, acknowledge it, do anything with it. But one night after tragedy strikes, she ends up becoming very desperate, and she ends up traveling through that black door, and she ends up learning some new things. She's trying to figure out exactly what had happened with this tragedy, why the people who are doing it, and there's a lot of secrets and things that her mom has kept from her, and she's just trying to figure that out, but also now has this black door that she's opened and the secrets within it, and I am really liking it so far. I do feel like when I first started it, things regarding like the world building and like the magic system were kind of thrown at me, and I was like, I don't think I understand everything here, but I do feel like the author has done a good job of explaining everything since the beginning of the book, and as a standalone fantasy, I feel like everything is paced really well. Nothing's been super info dumpy, or I don't know, I feel like I do have a pretty good understanding of the world at this point now that I've gotten a little bit farther in. I think the characters are really interesting, and I'm just very intrigued to see where this book is going, because really that description that I gave is the only thing that I knew about this book before going into it, and I feel like that's all the description of this book gives, is that there's a black door. She's not supposed to go through it, but she does. That's all I knew. That's all the description gives. So I really have no idea where the rest of the book is going, and I am really enjoying it. So I'm happy I was able to pick this up and make some progress in it last night. And then last night I wanted to listen to my audiobook while I kind of got ready for bed and started to like fall asleep. So I started listening to The Glass Witch by Lindsay Puckett, and I've also been listening to it this morning. I'm now 67% of the way through. This is only like a 4.5 hour long audiobook. It's a middle grade. It goes pretty quickly, and I am liking this as well. It's really, really cute, really fun. It gets compared to like Hocus Pocus, I think, and I definitely see those similarities with like this evil witch hunter kind of coming after Addie and her friend and her family as well, and her trying to stop him and protect her family from this curse. Like, it's really giving those Hocus Pocus vibes, but also right now they're trying to like collect ingredients for a certain like potion or something, and that part is kind of giving me Halloween Town vibes, because they have to collect certain ingredients in the first movie in Halloween Town to stop the bad thing, the bad guy in that movie. So it's just like, it's giving me the best like Halloween vibes. I mean, Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus are like my favorite Halloween movies. So the fact that I'm seeing those similarities is really fun. The characters are really fun. Yeah, I'm having a good time listening to that. I feel like I might not finish it in this 24-hour readathon, but I'll probably finish it later on today. Like, it's going very quickly. I think I'm listening to it on double speed, so I probably only have like an hour or so left of it at this point. But yeah, I've been listening to that, and now I think the rest of the readathon, I'm going to spend that reading some more of Legendborn, which also, again, doesn't have a dust jacket on it. I was reading a little bit of this morning. I'm now on chapter 15, which is page 129, so making some good progress here. I feel like with this being the only thing I think I'm going to be reading the rest of the readathon, I mean, I might put The Glass Witch on when I'm like making myself lunch or whatever later, but I think my main focus for the rest of the readathon is going to be Legendborn. So with that, I feel like I'm going to make a good amount of progress in this. I don't think I'm going to finish it at this point. I think I have too much left to be able to finish it, but I think I'll make a good amount of progress. I feel like I'll get pretty far in, so excited to keep going. I did say, I think, that this was a reread for me, and I'm really trying to focus and pay attention to all of the world building and details and characters, because that was something the first time I read this book that I really could not like keep track. Like, within the Legendborn society, within these people that are demon hunters and descendants and whatever of King Arthur, all of these people involved, there's so many different titles within the Legendborn society, and I don't quite understand the ranking of them. Even like paying attention the second time around and really trying to understand, I'm still a little confused. There's just a lot of different titles and names being thrown around that I'm like, I don't know anything. I'm just gonna read it and hope for the best and hope things start to make more sense. Which I feel like is what I did the first time. I just kind of was like, you know what? I don't think I'm ever going to understand this, so I'm just going to read it and hope for the best and just kind of vibe out. And that, I mean, it worked out well-ish. I still enjoyed the book, but I definitely feel like just the way things are explained with this world can be a bit confusing to understand. And also, you're getting all that information as well as being introduced to a bunch of characters within the Legendborn society, and that also was something I struggled with the first time, was keeping all the characters straight. Like, things would happen to certain characters and I'm like, well, I can't really remember who that is. Even like almost at the end of the book, I was still getting confused. So I'm really trying to focus and take in all the details and try and remember everything. I feel like I should be writing things down because I'm still getting confused upon a reread with all of these things, but I'm really trying to focus. But other than like some of the details with the world and the characters being confusing, I am really enjoying this reread. I did really enjoy this book when I first read it, so I'm happy to be back with these characters. I love Bree so much. I know I've already said that I love Sel, but I also forgot how much I love Nick. Like, he's just a precious angel baby. Like, I just love him. What a bean. So I am having a really good time being back with these characters. Even if I am confused on certain things, like, I'm having a really good time. I'm very excited that I decided to pick this up because I kind of forgot just how much I liked this book. But yeah, okay, I've been babbling for quite some time now, so I'm gonna wrap this up here so I can actually go and read and try and read as much as I possibly can before the readathon ends. I may make myself another chai because that was so delicious yesterday, and clearly the caffeine didn't affect me because at like 10 p.m. last night I was ready for bed. I really tried to push through because I was like, I'm doing a 24-hour readathon, I gotta stay up late and read. I don't even know, I think I made it to midnight and was like, okay, yeah, good night, peace out. So yeah, I may make myself another chai, but I want to go do some reading and just see how much I can get read in these final few hours. amazing. Okay, let's get nice and cozy for this final update. So the readathon has come to an end, and I wanted to share everything I read and like the final page count of what I managed to read in 24 hours. So first, I did finish reading The Long Game by Ellen Armis. I gave it 4 stars, had a really good time, liked the characters, thought it was really fun. Her writing was just so easy to get sucked into. Like, I never felt like I was reading when I was reading this book. Like, I just got lost in the story. But I did give it 4 stars because of the excessive use of the word darling. Like, every page, the kids not always acting like kids. And something I forgot to mention, I think, yesterday was just sometimes the dialogue and the writing. I just like sometimes would go, I don't really know what she's trying to say here. It was just sometimes a little like oddly worded or something. So then that would kind of take me out of it, but I still really enjoyed it. So I gave it 4 stars. Then I made a decent amount of progress in Beyond the Black Door. I'm now on page 158, chapter 13, like I said, and really enjoying this. And I did listen to, I think, a little bit more of The Glass Witch since my last update a few hours ago. And I'm now 72% of the way through. I think I only have a little bit left. Yeah, I have an hour and 14 minutes left, but I am listening to it on double speed. So that should go quickly, probably later on today when I finish it, but it is really cute. I'm having a really good time with it. I'm not a big middle grade reader, so I never know like how to rate them because I'm like comparing it to the YA and adult books that I typically am reading, but I am enjoying it. I think it's really, really fun. Definitely something I would recommend for younger readers around this time. It's the perfect like Halloween type of read. And the book that I have been reading the most today, Legendborn. I'm now on chapter 33, page 307. So I did make a good amount of progress in this. I'm a little over halfway. And I know I was talking about like getting confused with certain things within this world, like the characters and just all the different titles within the Legendborn society. But I do feel like I'm understanding it a little bit better this time around. I do feel like I'm understanding it a little bit better. I feel like when things were being explained, I was really focused because I knew I got really confused with that before. And I still feel like it can be a little confusing just because there are so many like names and titles and characters and information. There's just a lot to learn, but I am really enjoying this reread. I think I'm actually potentially enjoying this more this time around than I did the first time, which also, again, I'm not really surprised just knowing what was going on in my life at the time I was reading this. Like, I'm glad I'm able to sit down and read this and enjoy it even more now. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I feel like potentially, like, I think I gave it a 4-star originally. I don't know, it could end up being bumped up to like a 5-star maybe, which would be really, really exciting. I'm just having the best time with this reread. I'm so glad I decided to reread this before going into the sequel, and to be honest, I feel like I'm gonna just want to pick up Bloodmarked right after finishing it. Like, I'm just having such a good time with it. I'm just loving it. So yeah, I made a good amount of progress in my TBR for the Trick or Treat-a-thon, finished The Long Game, and got a decent amount of progress made in 3 other books. And I also calculated how many pages I was able to read. I don't know why it has taken me this long with 24-hour readathons to realize I can just keep track of the pages I'm reading on Storygraph, and it'll just tell me how many pages I read instead of me trying to figure out the math on my own. So with what I read yesterday and today over these 24 hours, I managed to read 703 pages, which I'm very happy about. I did not think I was going to read that much in this 24-hour readathons just because I was trying to be a little bit more chill, and I feel like because I only really finished one thing, even though I was reading 3 other things and made good progress in them, it just didn't feel like I had read as much as I actually did. And because last night I feel like I just didn't read as much as I could have. I definitely could have stayed up later, but I was just so tired, so I just went to sleep. But yeah, 703 pages read, not bad. Obviously, again, only finished one thing, but made good progress in a lot of other things. I think The Glass Witch and Legendborn are going to be finished soon, and everything that I have read during this 24-hour readathon I've really enjoyed. So for that, I would also consider it a success. But yeah, as always, I had so much fun doing this 24-hour readathon. I just love 24-hour readathons. I think they're so much fun, and I especially love doing them around this time of year. They're just so cozy, and I was able to have like my hot chocolate last night and just get really cozy in the autumn like ambiance that I've had on basically this whole 24-hour readathon. It's just been a vibe, and it really got me in the Halloween autumn spirit, which is why I wanted to do it. And it's also just a fun tradition that I've done the past few years. I think this is like the fourth 24-hour readathon that I've done around this time of year in October, and it's just really fun and just a fun way to celebrate this Halloween season. So yeah, definitely let me know if you've read any of the books I read in this 24-hour readathon, what you thought about them. We can have a chat about them down below in the comments. But yeah, I think that is going to be it for this 24-hour readathon. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.